27th of February today, and what I'm going to show you today, first of all, are microgreens and little things that you can grow very, very quickly with children. And also, once I've done that, I'm going to give you a little tour of the allotment to show you how the seeds that I've sown in the previous sort of 3-4 weeks or so are doing. Some have started to come up, some are just coming up, some are doing better than others, and some haven't come up at all, but there's still plenty of time. So I will give you a little show, an update on those. But first of all, I'm going to show you how to sow mustard, cress, and a mixture of microgreens. Now these have to be sown inside. On a sunny windowsill. They cannot be sown outside at all, but the good thing is that you can sow these throughout the year. Even in the deepest dark depths of winter, they will still grow on your windowsill. And if you want to encourage little ones to grow, then these are absolutely great because they sit on top of the soil. After a couple of days you can see them sort of going from the seed, and you can see the little roots coming out and the little all the bits growing. It's absolutely wonderful and it's fascinating for the children, and you'll be eating these within about a week, 10 days maximum. So these are fabulous for getting anybody, not just children really, anybody into growing. So let me show you how to sow these. Now you can sow these seeds straight onto kitchen towel, but I find that they tend to grow better and they stay greener for longer and don't turn yellow if you sow them on some compost. You don't need a huge amount of compost. I've got one of these little trays, and it's actually just separated into 3. So I'm going to use one for each one so that we can see how they grow individually. If you've only got one tray, then mix them all together. It really doesn't matter because you're going to be mixing them in with a sandwich or in a salad anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You don't need to have holes down the bottom. Just make sure that you don't overwater it, okay? Now, all you need to do is to put a little bit of compost, this is just normal multi-purpose compost, in the tray. Gently push it down and level it off. Put a little bit more in there. And then once you've done that, all you need to do is water the compost. So get some nice fresh water and just give it a nice water over like that. Remember, because there aren't any holes in there, any excess water won't flow through the holes, so just make sure that you don't put too much in. It's always best to put a little bit of water in, let that settle, and then maybe if you want to stick a little bit more. Okay, so the water's gone down. So in one section I'm going to sow the mustard, and these are the mustard seeds here. They're tiny little sort of yellow balls, okay? You don't have to sow these thinly. They do say that the good sort of rule of thumb is sow them as you would see sesame seeds on top of a sesame seed bun, okay? If that helps. So just sprinkle them on. Obviously if you put far too many on, then they won't grow because they'll be fighting for the light, but just spread them out evenly. And once these ones have nearly finished, then you can sow another lot in a different tray. So hopefully all throughout the year you'll have a nice selection. So there's the mustard. Now let's do the cress, and these seeds are very, very tiny. They're a different shape, they're long, they're sort of an oval shape. Okay, so I'll put those in this one here, and again sprinkle them. If some of them are touching each other, it doesn't matter. Okay, now you don't have to sow them in a tray like this. You could have a boiled egg, clean the eggshell out, Then put a little bit of compost in the eggshell, and then paint a nice little picture, a little face on the egg, and then sow them in there. That's always good fun for children to do. And then in the last little section, I'm going to do the little microgreens. I grew some of these the other year and they did really well. Now, because these are a sort of a mixed one, all of the seeds are slightly different there. Okay, so I'll just sprinkle those all over there. You don't cover these, you just leave them on top of the soil like this. Okay, I think we can squeeze all of those on. And within a couple of days, you should start to see the roots coming out and little shoots coming out of some of the seeds, and then you'll see them to start to grow. So there we are. I will keep these on the windowsill in the kitchen. I won't keep them in the greenhouse because it's too cold. They have to be kept inside the house. So I'll keep you updated on their progress and show you how they get on. Now, as promised, I said I would show you how my seeds were getting on. Here we've got cabbages, and you can just see these weren't up yesterday when I looked, so they've actually popped up this morning. There's some little cabbage seedlings just here. There's more coming up, and I can see lots more underneath here. So hopefully in about a week they'll all, or lots of them will be up. Behind, we've got the kohlrabi. They're doing incredibly well. There's loads of those which are coming up. Next to those, we've got the tomatoes. Now, the tomatoes haven't been in for that long, actually. They've only been in for about, I think I sowed them a couple of weeks ago. So there's nothing showing from them yet, but I'm hoping that in the next couple of weeks there will be something, but I will show you those when they come up. Okay, so here are the sweet peas. They've just started in the last couple of days to come up. Can you see this little green shoot here? There's quite a few if you look. They're starting to come up. They're doing very well. And then if we just move around to the shallots. The shallots haven't actually got any shoots at the top yet, but if you very gently get hold of one and just sort of try and pull it up, there is resistance. So that means that the roots are starting to grow underneath. So hopefully in a few weeks then we'll have some shoots that are coming up there. But if we just move around to the last tray and just zoom in a little bit, we've got lupins here. They haven't started to come up yet, but the cornflowers have. In fact, they were actually the first ones to start coming up. We've got lots of little cornflowers here starting to grow, so they're doing very well. And here we've got the onions. They're doing very well. The shoots are coming up. There's a load more on the shelf above, which I will briefly show you. They're doing very well. The broccoli, all the brassicas seem to be coming up very well. Here's the broccoli. The broccoli's doing very well. You can see lots of little shoots. And the leeks at the back, can you see these tiny, tiny little things here? There's some that are just about to break through. They weren't up yesterday, so that is brand new. The chilies and the sweet peppers are not quite coming up yet, but I'm keeping a propagator lid over the top of them. So hopefully that'll keep in some heat and they won't get too cold. And hopefully in a few weeks they'll be up as well. And here are a load more of the onions. You can see some of them are doing incredibly well. We've got lovely tall green shoots on quite a few of them. So they've got about another, what are we? About another month possibly before they have to go outside. So they've still got plenty of time to grow. The way the weather's going, they most probably won't go outside in the allotment until, I would say, the end of March. So they've got at least another month maybe longer. If the middle of March decides to be beautiful and nice and hot, then they might go a bit earlier, but we'll just have to see. Now these are the broad beans. None of the broad beans have come up yet. However, if we look at this one, I'm not sure if you can see, I hope you can, the soil's gone a little bit bumpy here. So, and it's going bumpy on quite a few of them here. It's just sort of mounded up. So it looks like they'll be coming through fairly soon. But again, I will keep you updated on their progress. But hopefully they won't be too long. And finally, we've got the garlic here. The garlic is doing very, very well. Nice, strong shoots from a lot of them. They'll be in the greenhouse for another 3 weeks, maybe 4. We'll just have to see. Depends on the weather outside, but they'll go out around the same time as the onions, maybe just before. And lastly, here we have the brucale. You can see lots of little green shoots coming up. So they're growing beautifully, and I'm so looking forward to seeing how they're getting on. Right, well that's a little update on how everything's getting on in the greenhouse. It's slow, but then it has been quite chilly outside, so I understand why it's taken so long. But I will put my microgreen herbs, I will put my cress, and I will put my mustard on the windowsill in the kitchen, and I will keep you updated on their progress. But as I say, you'll see them sort of starting to grow within the next couple of days, which will be really good. What I might do is take some photos and stick them on the blog so that you can see them. But I will also keep you updated on how everything else is growing as well. Most of the plants have actually got propagator lids over the top of them, so it keeps them extra specially warm. But there will be an awful lot more to be sowing the next few weeks, so I will show you those when I do it. Well, I hope you found that interesting, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.